Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing good. Today I've got a very exciting guest. I'm really happy to have Jez on today because he does some amazing Arsenal content and it's just really good to chat with you today. Jez, thank you so much for coming on my channel today. How are you doing?
I'm very well, so thank you. And thank you for inviting me on your show for the first time. It's always a pleasure to go on new shows. Looking forward to this one. Something different. Always, I love to get on with different people and have a good
Yeah.
old chat.
Yeah, definitely. It's really nice to do this, and I'm looking forward to having you on as well. But today we'll chat a bit about the game at the weekend against Villa because off air we were saying that is going to be a tough game, especially how we sort of played against Wolves. We can't really make those type of mistakes, but I wanted just to speak about the transfer window first because obviously so far at the moment we've not really done too much. I know Calafiori's here, we're looking to sign Marino in that midfield, which I think would definitely help us. But do you feel like we've done enough now to win the league? Because for me, I'm like I want the striker so bad. Like the game last at the weekend, it was so obvious to me that we were the same Arsenal last season. We're great, but we're just missing that someone up front that will take those chances.
I totally agree.
Mm.
We are short. I still think we need that striker. We're running out of time
Yeah,
rapidly. There's talk today that we've agreed everything with this Marino. But the thing is, Arsenal take forever and a year to get the simplest of transfers done. It
yeah,
goes on and it goes on. I mean, you might remember Julian Draxler. We were linked with him for about 5 seasons.
yeah,
It went on and on and on. Now, with the signing of Calafiori,
mm.
it just takes forever. We need that striker. You're quite right. It was evident at the weekend. If we had the
Mm.
poacher type Ian Wright type striker, we could have probably won that game 3-4-0.
Mm.
We haven't got that. Jesus isn't that type of player, right? So we need that striker. Are we going to get one? I don't believe we are. I think it's rapidly running out of time now. Um, for whatever reasons, we were linked, weren't we, with Ivan Toney? That's never got over the line. So it's a concern to me. I know everybody, a lot of channels are saying, well, we've got Havertz. Havertz came good at
Mm.
the end, after Christmas. He did all right. He did, but he's not going to get you 20, 25 goals a season. And I'm sorry to say it, we need that type of player to get us over the line. We were so close again last
Yeah,
season, but we just couldn't finish our dinner. And that is a frustration for everyone, I think. Um, so,
yeah.
you know, it concerns me, Soph. It does, because I can see it being the same old, same old, same old. The problem also, I think, is that the arrogance of Arteta in its he does. I don't honestly think he believes we need a striker, and that's a worry. That
Yeah, it's weird thinking that because it's so obvious to us that we need a striker. I mean, like you said, we have players that will score goals. You know, we know Saka and Havertz are going to score a lot of goals this season, but is that enough for us to win the league? Probably not.
I don't think so. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think like in the transfer window we've seen rumours, haven't we? We've seen, us being linked to players, but with the striker situation, we've never been really keen on it, and I'm a bit confused because if we sign a striker now, I could tell you now we're gonna win the league, like I'd be so confident about it. But because we're not, I'm still unsure. But like you said, we're so close, aren't we? Like last season, I think. I wasn't as disappointed as the season before, but last season we did really good. And if we would have won certain games, if we would have taken our chances, we would have won the league. And it's so frustrating, like you say, because we're so close, aren't we, to just doing it?
Well, if you look back at what cost us, the Fulham
Yeah.
games did us. We should games. Let's be fair. No disrespect to Fulham whatsoever. We should have turned them over easy, but we didn't do it.
Mm.
Right. The Villa games. I mean, again, Unai Emery. You know, there's a whole big debate here, isn't there? You could talk about this forever. Who's the better manager? Well, it's clearly Emery to me, because what his track record is. You know, he's won 4 Europa trophies in Europe. Yeah, he's won domestic stuff in the teams he's been with. I mean, that says to me, this guy. I mean, I didn't want him sacked. I won't lie.
Okay.
I thought, you know, if you sit here and let's say, well, if he'd been given the money that Arteta's been given, he would have won us by now. I'm convinced he would have won us a Premier League, possibly a European trophy, possibly. I'm convinced of that. He's obviously got a proven record in Europe. So yeah, I mean, it's annoying because it's like we were almost touching the trophy, like, you know, our fingers were there, and it got whipped away because of nonsense stuff. And I have to say, right, that was because of poor decisions by Arteta. It's his decisions. He's the man, and he made those silly decisions that cost us, in my opinion. You know, when we talk about the upcoming Villa game, if you look at what he did in the Arsenal team against Villa last year, it cost us.
Yeah, there's so many games, like, I look back. I think for me, the Fulham one is probably the one that I think the most, because realistically, we should be beating Fulham. And that game was just ridiculous. But yeah, do you know what, last season, I do think Arteta had learned more from his mistakes. But I think the big problem was Havertz in that midfield. I feel like if he maybe was in that striker role earlier on, I do think things would have been different, but I still think we would have been a little bit short because of the striker. We needed a striker, and it's a tough one. I mean, Wookie Cookie makes a good point here. Is it possible, Edu and Arteta don't think there's a striker out there that fits the bill? Just get but I mean, but you mentioned Ivan Toney, because I would take Ivan Toney. Like, he's probably going to leave and go to Saudi. That's sort of what the rumours are, but I would definitely I'd definitely take Ivan Toney. I know Isaac was another one, but he was probably going to be a lot of money. But yeah, I wanted to also quickly ask you as well, because I've heard, you know, Arteta is set to sign a new deal at Arsenal, and for me, how I feel about Arteta, it's always been quite up and down, because he came, wanted to give him a chance, and then it came to a point where I couldn't really support him because we were in such a bad mess as a club, and it was so hard to stay positive and get behind him. And I'm not someone who likes to kind of get on managers' back, but I couldn't really support him at that time. But we've come a long way under him. But I also feel like this season we have to win a trophy. But do you feel like now would be the right time for him to sign a deal, or do you feel like he should win something and then sign a deal?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I'm not convinced right now. He should get a new contract. He hasn't won anything. You have to look at the development also of players. I think some players have gone backwards. One in case in point is Martinelli. I just don't think it's right that you award, if you want to put it this way, I don't think you should award failure. You know, guys failed, and whichever way you look at it, it's failure. Finishing twice in second spot when you've been so close, and it's the errors of the man in charge that's cost you. Then I have to say no, not right now. No, yeah, you just move on. And if by the end of the season he hasn't won again, he has to go. Because if you give him a new contract now, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, let's say 3-year extension, argument's sake, right? Yeah. If he fails by this time, by the end of the season, and the management decide, the Cronkies, whoever decide, nah, come on, we've got to move on now. This is enough's enough. It's going to cost you a lot of money to get. You've got to buy him out. I mean, you know. There's a certain Mourinho manager. He's made millions out of failure. He's getting binned from clubs. How much money? You know, twice Chelsea's, Tottenham, Man United, Roma.
Yeah.
You know, no, I'm sorry. Right now, I don't believe that he should be awarded an extension. No, I don't believe.
Yeah, do you know what it is? Like, don't get me wrong, I like how Arteta's, how far he's taken us, and I love all of that, but I do feel like you'd have to win something for me to think that's the right time for him to sign a deal, because, Thomason does make a good point here. He has won FA Cup in 5 years. I know the football we've been playing has been amazing, but I just feel like we have to win a trophy. Like, you look at the players we have as well, Saliba, Gabriel, Saka, etc. They deserve that. They deserve silverware, because if you think about it, if we're going to keep getting close, falling short, will they want to stay? Will they want to go to other teams that are winning? It's a tough one, and a lot of people do say at the end of the season, if we don't win anything, people might want Arteta to go, and it's a tough one, because I do like Arteta, but for me, the club will always come first. And I just feel like we've got to win something. But yeah, it's a tough one, really. But I don't think that it was the right. If he does sign a deal now, it'd be a bit weird at the start of the season rather than at the end of the season, where if you did well, fair enough, you can sign a deal. But it's a tough one as well. If Arteta ever did go, who would come in? Is there anyone you would have in mind? Say it didn't work out for Arteta. Is there anyone you'd like to bring in manager wise?
Well, there's proven winners out there that we can go
Yeah.
and get. There's Simeone. You know, um, I think I think the problem with Arsenal is this, right? Is they go always for the easy option, right? And that's under the Cronkies. I'm not saying that's been in
Yeah.
history. That's under the Cronkies. There are managers out there that would come to Arsenal. Whether they would be suited to the regime is the problem, right? Because I think that Arteta may be a little bit of a get along gang type player. He'll go along with what he's told to do, which I don't agree with that, because if you're the manager, then you are the manager.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, look at that name. Look at all them lot.
Yeah, there's so many. Yeah.
Proven winners. Zidane, maybe not, but Tuchel, Nagelsmann, Ancelotti, Alonso. I mean, they're all winners there. So there are options. Now, I'll throw this spanner in the works. I know he said he's out of it, but you get the right money, you get the right setup, go for Klopp.
Yeah, I really like Klopp. I've always loved to see what he would be like at Arsenal. It's so tough because with Arteta, he's so close to doing it, and I really want him to do it. But I think this season, if we got close and didn't do it again, I would be very frustrated, if I'm being honest, because I've not seen us win a league, and obviously I want us to do it so bad. But at the same time, Arteta as well, he's under a bit of pressure, I feel, to win something. And don't get me wrong, I love an FA Cup, but for me, the league is the one we've got to win. I know we're in the Champions League as well, and it'll be interesting to see sort of how we improve there. But yeah, we've got to see how it goes, but it's so hard because we're getting so close, like you said, and we're just not able to get over the line. And I do always wonder, is Arteta taking us as far as he can go, or is he able to get us across that line? That's the only thing that I'm a little bit unsure on. I know he has won us an FA Cup, but it's been a while since we've really won some actual self-aware. So I think this season we've got to really win something. I really want us to win some silverware. And I wanted just to touch on the game at the weekend as well, because we will sort of preview that. We've got Villa coming up. Now, we know our performance in the Wolves game wasn't perfect, and I thought some players looked a bit sloppy, but I kind of also understand it's the first game of the season, not going to be perfect or not going to be how we sort of know them, but how are you feeling going into the game? Because Villa are very good, during the Champions League. Unai Emery, he's so tough to beat. We know him very well, how he plays. Do you feel like we can win this? Would you change anything in the lineup at all?
I think if long as Arteta doesn't do stupid nonsense.
Yeah.
Now, case in point, right? When we played Villa last year, yeah, Havertz, right, had been on. He'd scored 4 goals and 4 assists in 6 games, right? So he's doing really well. Yeah, this is the after it's the second half of the season, right? So he's doing really well. What Arteta then did against Villa, took him out of the top, the number 9, and put him back in midfield.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I mean, why? I mean, it's quite clear before, August to Christmas time, Havertz was not very good in midfield. Yeah, he was a liability. So why then suddenly change it when you've got a game like Villa? They were going very well. They were playing very well. So that, I think, was just pure stupidity, and that cost us. That cost that game. If he hadn't have done that, I reckon we'd have won that game. But that's what frustrates me, annoys me with Arteta at times. Don't change what ain't broke. It's so easy. And he's done it before. He did it the season before. He did the same sort of thing, right? Now, if we're away at Villa Park at the weekend, it's a tough place to go. It's a tough ground to win at for anybody. We haven't actually, in our history, got a great record there in all the games we've played. So it's going to be a big ask. We know how Emery. We know how he wants to set that team up to get one over an Arsenal. I don't care what anybody says, right? He wants that, and he's going to have that team pumped for it. Arteta's got to go the same way. The only thing I would do for that game right now is I didn't think much of Partey on the weekend. I thought he was terrible. He was the weak link. I would take Zinchenko out. I'd put Timber in there because I personally, when Timber came on, I thought he upped the game. He upped the tempo. His link up with Martinelli, I thought, was decent. So that's my change there. I may possibly, right, I don't know if I'd start Partey again. That's a big ask.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking Jorginho, like, who would you... I don't know who I'd prefer at the moment. It's a tough one.
Yeah,
But,
I'm not sure about... I don't know Jorginho. I'm not sure about... Could be because he's a sort of holding control player, isn't he? So that could be a good option. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Partey. I think he's a decent player. It could be just a bad day. But I'll tell you one thing: we need to have. I would possibly also. I would possibly start Trossard ahead of Martinelli. Maybe we know he can be a bit of an impact player, or I don't know. It's a tricky one, but yeah, I think I'd start Timber definitely. Trossard over Martinelli. See how that goes. But the thing is, Soph, we know that Arteta doesn't always have the game plan to change things early. If it ain't working, I can almost time it. I was doing a watch along. 65 minutes. Yeah, here comes the change. Well, it was 68 minutes last weekend. It's a bit too predictable. And other managers know that. So if I know it, they know it because they know like more than I do. So yeah, I think maybe I'd go with Trossard, start Timber. I just think Zinchenko would be a liability against Aston Villa. They will target that side of the pitch.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I feel like I'd be happy if Zinchenko went because, like, defensively, he's not. I don't feel comfortable with him. Like the first game of the season, you can get away with it because Wolves are a great side. Don't get me wrong, they were great, but they're not quite like a Villa or a much stronger side. So I feel like I agree. I think the midfield, I think I'd probably stick with Partey. I'm honestly with you. Like I saw a lot of people were saying Partey had a great game the other day. And I was like, are you seeing the same game as me? Because I didn't think he did too good. think the midfield is a bit of a problem, but if Partey isn't ever fit, but at this moment in time, if he can put a better performance in, then I think we'll be okay. But I'm with you. Like, I don't know who I'd start. Martinelli, Trossard. It's a tough one because Martinelli seems like he's lacking a bit of confidence at the moment. But then will dropping him affect his confidence, or will starting Trossard? I feel like I'd rather go with Trossard because I feel like he would make the most of his opportunities. Because let's be honest, we have to beat Villa. I feel a bit. I think if we lose, I'll be quite disappointed because
Oh yeah,
we're not able to beat Villa again, and it's like another season where we've not really learned how to work them out properly. And I think we've got the players to be able to do that. It's just a tough one with who we sort of play at left back. But I really like Timber. I think he's a very good player. Um, I think with California probably wouldn't start him yet because I feel like he needs a bit of time to come in. But
yeah.
yeah, I agree. It's a tough game. They're a good side. Yeah, it's going to be a really tough game. I'd rather not have this game coming up. This would be a good attacking lineup. Trossard, Havertz, Saka. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with that. I think we'll definitely have a good game. Just wanted to say hi to a few people that have joined. Big up Sunshine FC.
Yeah,
Sophie and Jez absolutely love this. Big up yourself. Big up Tony, Claude, Gunner as well. Great to see you. So big up everyone as well. Niall, great to see you all in the chat as well. Yeah, 2-1. I think we can win this. I just feel like it depends on the lineup. I think if Zinchenko's at left back again, then I'm just I don't see how we would win that. That would be our weakness, definitely. 2-2. Yeah, I was on the stream the other day and I was like, it could go either way. Like I feel like they could win. We could win, but I do sort of feel like a draw could happen. But I think this season with us winning the league, I think a lot of it depends on, in a way, Arteta, because like you said last season, there were some mistakes that he did make. Havertz in midfield, but do you feel like as each season goes on, Arteta is sort of gradually learning from his mistakes, or do you feel like the season? Because I know a lot of people used to speak about us inexperience, as he's not had the experience of other managers, but I feel like every season I sort of feel like he's getting a bit better with sort of a few things. But I know it was really good actually the other day. What I noticed was he brought Saka off a lot earlier, and I thought like that was great because we've seen this for a while. Saka is really running out of energy. He doesn't need to play a full 90 minutes of a game that we're already going to win.
I was impressed by that he did that because that's the first time I've ever seen him do it.
Yeah.
He normally runs the guy into the ground, and he just can't do that. So yeah, I was impressed by that. He switched it up. He put Martinelli out there on the right. So I hope he does look. I'm not a fan. You know that. Everybody knows that. I'm not a fan of the guy. It's not personal.
Yeah.
I personally just didn't think he was good enough. He was good enough to manage Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal Football Club, the third biggest club in English football, right? And when we had Emery and that he went out the door, and then they brought in Arteta, I thought this is a disaster. This is a bloody train wreck, And I was proven right. The first season, finishing 8th. I thought, hang on, we just got rid of a guy who nearly finished 3rd, right? Got us to a European League final.
Yeah.
Right? With a pretty crap team. Let's be honest. We had some lazy players in that team. Ozil, for one, it was a disaster. But I thought, what are we doing? Mikel Arteta. He was a panic buy by Arsene Wenger, right? In that season. So yeah, I thought no.
Yeah.
Now I hope he does learn. It's, as I say,
Yeah.
if he, I said last season, if he wins the Premier League, right? Yeah, I'll be the first person to put my hands up and say I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I am wrong. You've done it. You proved me wrong. Well done, Mikel. Because all I want to see is the Premier League and an FA Cup. Yeah, let's not get carried away. This Arsenal team aren't going to win the Champions League.
Yeah, we're not ready. I don't think we're quite there.
We don't have the squad. We don't have the squad for that. To beat the likes of Real Madrid, etc., etc. All right, Bayern Munich last year were very poor. They won't be this year. You can bang on that one because
Yeah,
they will be hurting. They didn't win the Bundesliga. That's a given for them. So it's a new format this year. The Champions League. It's going to be different.
yeah,
So we've got to look at that. But Arteta, mate, you've got to step up.
mm.
You've got to step up. Will you do it? I hope so.
Yeah,
As a fan, all I want is to see silverware, like you said earlier.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I want. It's not a personal thing. Will he do it? We're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, I feel like that's more than fine because I know like when people don't agree with Arteta, people hate criticize people hate people that criticize managers, but I feel like everyone is entitled to have their thoughts and feel that. And like you said, Arsenal always comes first. We'll always have players that have made our club bigger or helped us along the way. But I just feel as a club, I mean, I've not been an Arsenal fan for as long as you, so I've not seen us win an awful lot. I've seen us win like FA Cups and stuff, but a league is completely different. And I just think we need to get back there winning. We are close. We've been very close, but we're just not able to get over the line right now. But you look at the squad as well. I mean, I think we're able to win a league if we brought in a striker.
That must be very frustrating for a young fan like you, right? If you've never seen Arsenal win the Premier League,
Yeah,
and you've seen us literally touching, it's there.
my patience is running thin, honestly.
It must be so frustrating for you because
Yeah,
I'm lucky. I've been around
yeah.
for the club a long time, so I'm sorry to interrupt. But that for young fans like yourself, it must be so annoying. Seriously, but anyway, sorry. Carry on. Sorry.
No, it's funny this one as well because I've seen Leicester win it, but not Arsenal. The thing is, like, I supported Arsenal around 2014-15. I remember we should have won at the time when Leicester won the league. We should have won it, but I always say, I always value an FA Cup. They're not on the same level as a league or a Champions League, but I think winning things is so special. But yeah, I think it's so frustrating, like, especially if you've not seen us do it and we're like so close. It is really hard because I'm trying to be patient, but my patience is running thin because if this season we do the same thing, we're a point behind, I will be really annoyed. It'll be very frustrating. Like, don't get me wrong, Man City are very hard to compete with. That you have to be perfect, really. But last season, I think if we did things differently, we are more than capable of winning the league last season. If things were different, if Arteta did things different, or if we took our chances more or did more in the summer, it's really tough. But yeah, I think let me read this one from Mike. Our squad depth is awful. First 11, some on the bench is good, but squad depth is poor. What do you make of our squad depth? Are you happy with it, or do you think it could be better?
It could be a lot better.
Mm.
We've still got a lot of
Yeah.
players that shouldn't be here. We pontificate with these players. You think why? I mean, let's look at the Nketiah situation.
Oh God, yeah.
We were offered money for him by Palace 3 seasons ago. Okay, obviously we weren't going to sell him because there was still a little bit of sunlight there, right? And we're thinking, okay, he might kick on. He clearly hasn't.
Mm.
So it's time to go now. If the guy obviously wants to go, he wanted to go to Marseille. He said he was there. He wanted to go. They offered the money that. Well, no, it's not. We want more. I have a big problem with this. Is that right? If we wanted 30 million and they offered 27, okay, 3 million, let him go. Because
I know. Why didn't you just take
think,
it? Yeah.
I don't agree with holding on to players that clearly the club doesn't want. Arteta didn't play him hardly any time at all after Christmas. Arteta clearly lost faith with him. But hey, hello, you were the guy, mate, who gave him 100 grand a week.
Yeah,
It's your
literally.
fault. You did it. Nobody else to blame but you. So if the young guy, has, and he knows he's not going to get game time, right? Just let him go and say, move on. We wish you the best. I hope your career develops, and and you have a great career. No, that fell through. Yeah. Then we've got at this point in time, Nottingham Forest apparently interested. They're arguing about that. Just take the money they're offered. Get
Oh
rid of
no.
him. Get rid of him, because what, you want to hang on, and he's stuck here, and it goes into the we missed deadline day, and he's still here. What are you going to do with the guy? Just have him as a bench warmer? He ain't
I
going to
know.
get game time. It's wrong, and I think that is a wrong philosophy for the player, because at the end of the day, I don't rate Nketiah. I never really have, and I just think it's let the man go. Yeah, you're holding him bloody shackled as a prisoner, when in actual fact you should be saying, "There's the door. We've got the money. Thank you very much. Shake hands, move on, have a great career, and we'll see you another day."
I
No,
don't
we
get
don't do
why
it.
we're just not taking the money. Like, he needs to go, and himself, he's probably prepared when these offers are coming in to go, to these places wherever he's going to go, and this is falling through. Like, honestly, I think for him, he knows he wants to move on, and we know that Arteta hasn't played him much, and let's be honest, the Nketiah isn't going to win us the league. Him and Jesus together won't. Jesus on his own won't either. But, the Nketiah, I do expect him to go soon. But you know what? 2020, if we had 25 million for Eddie, I'd take that personally. I mean, it's good to get more money, don't get me wrong. But I think you've just got to, take the money and, selling. But it's a bit annoying because we keep hearing stuff and it's falling through, but I honestly don't know what's going to happen. I mean, big up the coach says here, true, Nelson too, Mikel never gave Eddie 100k. Eddie did, he does the contracts, and man like Vinny, etc. Why blame the coach for contracts? um
Fact. Good point. Facts.
yeah, I think with Reece Nelson, I personally, I like him, but I don't think, like, if Saka was injured, I don't think he could quite play on his level. I think Nelson needs to move on, but I've not really heard any rumours about his future, so I presume he's going to stay. But like I said, he's on the bench. It's a bit of a waste for him, a waste of career if he's just not really doing much. But I do get he loves Arsenal, but it's just, yeah, it's a difficult one. Nketiah, Nelson, Kivior, Vieira, Ramsdale need to go. Ramsdale's one is sad, but he's not going to settle as number 2 yet. I mean, with Ramsdale, I have heard a lot of rumours today, actually. I've heard Southampton are interested. Do you think for Ramsdale it'd be the best thing for him to go? Because I do think Ramsdale is good enough to play in like maybe a top 6 to 8 team. I think for us, he was very good. I was surprised at everything that happened, but now we're seeing Raya's done very well. But I personally, I'd be sad if Ramsdale went, but I think he's got to, hasn't he, really?
Well, this is another one that I think is a concern.
Mm.
We're running the clock down, right? We've got what, 9 days is it now to the end of the transfer window?
Yeah, it's ending soon, I'm pretty sure.
Nothing concrete about Ramsdale, and I'm thinking, well, I agree with you. He's not going to want to be number 2. I don't blame him.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
blame him. But who have we got as a number 2? Hine, right, has gone out alone, right? So he's not around. He's gone. So who's going to be a reliable top level if Raya gets injured? Dear God, pray no.
Yeah.
Who's going to replace him? Because that is a massive concern. Huge. Because I know we bought the young lad from Ajax, right? The under-21 international goalkeeper. I haven't seen him play. I've no idea how good he is, so I'm not qualified to speak about it. Well, I mean, we're getting the Spain under-21 goalie Juan Garcia. Okay, I don't know anything about him.
No, neither do I.
But that's 2 under-21 goalkeepers we've bought. That's 2. So that's 2. So bit of a worry there for me. Ramsdale,
Yeah.
I can see him going on loan, maybe.
Yeah, I think the rumours have been like Bournemouth or Southampton, it would be on loan, so they wouldn't really be buying them straight away. So maybe that's not a bad thing. But yeah, I think Riot, you don't know how injuries happen. Leno, remember one season he was doing great, he got injured, he was out for the rest of the season. So you can't predict these things. So if Riot got injured, I think we're in big trouble. But I don't know who I'd want to be a second choice goalkeeper, but I do also feel as though Ramsdale, if I was Ramsdale, I would probably move because internationally he could be a number one for England one day. I think he's good enough to do that. I just think right now he's not got a lot of confidence. These are good options actually. So Chesney, De Gea would have been good. Number twos, I agree. Jez, imagine semi-finals, no Raya. Oh my god, and you have to bring a kid on. That would be a nightmare. That.
Yeah, I don't know. This is where it gets messy to me. Big up, Kyle.
Yeah, big up.
This is where it gets messy for me because I think I'd love to know how the negotiations are done and what goes on behind the scenes. I don't. I was going to do a show about it actually, maybe tomorrow. Who actually runs Arsenal? Because we've got this situation here, yeah, where we've got you mentioned a minute ago, Reece Nelson, right? What's going to happen there? Ramsdale, what's going to happen there? We got these players sat on the bench. I don't know. I just find it very frustrating, very confusing.
Yeah.
I think at times I honestly think at times Arsenal confuse themselves. It's almost like they pick themselves up because we aren't. All right, let's look at it this perspective, right? Yeah, this transfer window. How are people going to rate it? Yeah, because we've bought in Calafiori, possibly going to get Mourinho, right? Possibly. It looks like it's a done deal. That's the talk. We've bought a goalkeeper from Ajax, England under-21 goalkeeper. Is that a good transfer window? To actually look at the depth of the squad, knowing that we've got a Champions League coming up. Yeah, that starts soon, right? We that to me says, well, we're going to throw the FA Cup in the bin again this year, and we're going to throw away the Carrier Bag Cup. So that is a disappointment. I love the FA Cup. I was brought up with the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And it really frustrates me, considering the only trophy this guy's won is the FA Cup.
I know. I wish we would take it more seriously, though. I mean, don't get me wrong, we have had Liverpool early on, but we're good enough to beat them. They're a great side, Liverpool. I don't think people should write them off, but yeah, I mean, I've got to read this one out. Big up Sack as well. Another abysmal window. The recollection of the lack of stewardship and accountability does my head in this season, in and out. Same old story. Get ready for another fruitless season. I mean, do you know what it is? Like, if we're getting rid of players, you've got to replace them. It's like, if we get rid of Reece Nelson, who's going to come in and be that backup or challenge Saka? That one I think we should sort out, because Saka last season was burnt out towards the end, and he sort of needs someone to not to compete with, but to give him a bit of a rest when he needs to. So honestly, like right now, it looks like we're going to buy that Marino guy. We've got Calafiori, we've got goalkeeper we don't really know much about. But if you had to rate it out of 10, what would you give it so far?
Oh, crikey! So far, as we sit here talking right now, I would say to you, I have to say probably a 3.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because the one player we need, well, the one position we need is a striker. We've been doing this for 3 seasons and we still haven't got a out and out striker. The last one we had was a Aubameyang. He went out the door, right? So yeah, I'm sorry, it's not good enough. But it's the arrogance here. I'm sorry, but no, it's not good enough. We should be targeting those positions. I also said we needed a backup right winger. We
Yeah.
haven't got that. Midfield wise, maybe a CDM, but I suppose you've got Jorginho can jump in there. I'm not convinced myself. It's in there. I don't think it's a great window at all. Yet.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know what's going to happen. Yeah.
Who knows? Arsenal, we know can sometimes pull something out the bag late doors. I don't know. Will we get Tony? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm with you. I think if this was window now and it stopped, I'd probably give it a 4. Don't get me wrong. I think the signings that Marino, when he comes, and Calafiori, they're going to be great. But I think we're more than capable to win quite a few trophies this season. Like you said, FA Cup, we could easily win that. The League Cup's a weird one. Like, I know a lot of fans aren't a big fan of it, but at the end of the season, it's about how much you've won as a club. So I think we've got to be a bit more stronger, because I feel like I'm happy to actually see the academy players actually get a chance, but I think as well you've got to have a lot of experience in that as well. But I just don't think we're taking it too seriously. Like, I think we're focusing on the league, because last season in the Champions League we got far, but it felt like our focus was more on the league, and I think we can go for both. We're good to do that. A good question actually from 170 Gunner: Arteta ruined Pepe. Do you know what? I did like Pepe. I did think he was a very talented player, but he didn't get played much, and I think when he had his chances, I don't think he was consistent enough. But what did you make of Pepe? Did you think it was the right thing for him to move on and leave Arsenal?
Well, when we signed Pepe,
Yeah.
our top signing, our biggest signing, 72 mil. I thought, whoa, we're serious now. Here we go, but he's one of these players, never quite got it over the line. He never quite got it there. And there was times when I saw absolute brilliance, but that was probably 40% of the time. 60% of the time, I thought, nah, you're just falling down here. And that was a great shame. We've seen this not just at Arsenal. We've seen it at many other football clubs. Yeah. Sometimes the Premier League just doesn't suit some players.
Yeah.
Pogba, right? Man United didn't make it really very well. Left, then came back again. When he left Man United, he was ripping it up, right? And then he came back, didn't make it again. I just think sometimes the Premier League doesn't suit some players. Maybe it's the pace, maybe physicality. So, maybe, I don't know. But it's a great shame for Pepe. And look what's happened to him now.
It's a shame, because it's like players that have played for Arsenal. I look at someone like Sanchez. Like, I do sometimes think if he never left Arsenal, how things would have been, because now his career has sort of gone downhill since he's been to United. But at the same time, I think he had to leave because we weren't going to win a title at that time. But yeah, I mean, Vieira's another one. I wanted to get your thoughts on him, because I just don't know. Yeah, I don't honestly know what I think of him right now. I mean, last season he started off really promising. He was doing a lot of good things, and then I remember I was at actually one of the games. He got a red card, and then he just sort of gradually went downhill. And he's, like you said, some players just don't adapt to the Premier League. It's a different league. It's very, it's a very competitive league. It's not for everyone. But do you feel like we should sell him, or do you think this could be his last season to see what we can sort of, if we can get the best out of him?
I think this will be, if he doesn't step up to the mark, if he gets game time, right, and I want to see the guy succeed.
Yeah,
I don't, any player Arsenal buy, any player that puts the Arsenal shirt on, I want to see him succeed. Yeah, I just feel this guy. There's something there. I'm now, yeah. This, I said this last year when the Havertz thing. I remember having this discussion with Kenny Ken and Lee Gunner, and I said, "There's a player in there somewhere." And after Christmas, when he started scoring and all that, they said, "Jez, you got it right." Well, maybe not quite right because maybe he needs to go another level. Fabio Vieira, um, he'll be here this season. If he gets the game time, right, then I hope he succeeds. Because if he doesn't, then sorry, next year you've got to go.
mm, yeah,
My only concern with him is will he get the game time? That's the problem. Because we've pretty much got a pretty established midfield, starting midfield. He may come on as a sub, impact sub, something like that.
yeah,
And he does score some nice goals, not enough for me, but I'd like him to succeed. I think there's something there, but will he get the game time? Maybe so. Maybe
yeah,
use him more if Arteta takes the Carrier Bag Cup seriously, right? Like Wenger used to do it. He used to put the kids out, right? That's what he used to do. So maybe put out the younger players and put him in there, and let's see what he's really all about. There's got to be something there. We just got to find it. That's
yeah,
the thing. We just got to find it.
yeah.
Mike saying that. I mean, where's his best position for you? Do you know what I would do with that guy? Do you know what I'd do with him? I'd stick him out on the right wing, up front. Let him have a go. If we were in a game, right, like the other day, yeah, he took Saka off, right, yeah, stick him up there for maybe give him 15 up there, yeah, and let's see what he's got. Don't stick him in midfield. I know he's not a striker, that type of player
Mm.
up there, but you don't know. Give him the chance because let's remember when we brought Henri, yeah, he wasn't a striker, right? He played left wing because Wenger saw something in him that said, "No, I'm sticking you there." And look what happened. Yeah, because when Henri first came to Arsenal, I remember when I seen him for the first time at Highbury, I thought, yeah, okay, not that impressed. And it went on, and I thought, crikey, 4 or 5 months in, I don't know about this guy. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, Wenger changed it, stuck him out there, and whoo, well, the rest is history.
I mean, I think with Vieira, like you said, you won't know how it will be until it happens. Like, Arteta's got to try new things, I think. I would give that a chance actually. If we were like winning comfortably, like 3 or 4 nil in a game and there's like 10 minutes to go, what have you got to lose to try it? And it also, like with Zinchenko, I'm under the impression he's staying this season. And I think if he is wanting to get minutes, I would be open to sticking him in the midfield if it came to the point where we were doing well in a game, we had like a bit of time to go. But yeah, I think you've got to look at our squad now. If Arteta's wanting to keep these players that we know aren't doing particularly great, he's got to find the right positions for them. Because I know Vieira, it's a really weird one, Vieira, because I just don't know sort of what I think of him right now. I think I've got to see more of him throughout the season, and I wanted to actually ask you a bit about Jesus because for
Mm.
me, last season I think he had a very poor season. He had a lot of injuries as well that we do have to consider. Um, but pre-season, he's done good. I know pre-season is a lot different to being, in the league. But do you expect him to have a better season? I mean, Jesus has always struggled with injuries that have always set him back, but he seems sort of like ready. He seems like mentally he seems very good, and he wants to have a good season for Arsenal.
The thing with Jesus, what frustrates him, if he can stand on his feet, right, he spends more time sat on his arse than he does on his feet.
I love that. Yeah.
That is frustration. He's always looking for the cheap shot. And that, for a man of his ability, is annoying to me because he's a good player. There's no question. He doesn't score enough goals, but he said, I'm not a natural goal scorer. Okay. Well, that's a worry, considering the position you play. And it's a little bit annoying sometimes the way he plays. That if he was to actually, in my opinion, to actually stand a yard off, right, a yard back, he'd score more goals. He'd run into it because sometimes he runs ahead of the ball, right? You got, say, Martinelli or Saka passing the ball forward. He's in front. He's in front of the ball. The ball's behind him. Yeah. If you remember, right, watching films of like Henri and players like the T, they'd always be hanging off the shoulder of a player, right, and then they'd go. They'd bang, and Henri was brilliant at it. Yeah. Aubameyang was very similar. He'd hang that yard off. He'd see the ball come across, and he'd be on it. Bang, goal. Now, if Jesus had that to do that, I think then we'd actually score more goals.
Yeah, I think he's got to get in the right position himself. I mean, there's something I noticed last season with him. He's very talented, Jesus. He's very, he does dribble a lot, and sometimes I think just shoot, just take your chance. I don't know how he's going to do this season. I wouldn't particularly start him in a game that we need to win. The game at the weekend. I'd definitely start Havertz because Havertz, we sort of know what we're going to get with him, and I think Havertz will actually have a good season for us, and I reckon he could score 15 or more. But I think Jesus, I would like to see him have a game just to see is he going to do well enough. But if Jesus left, I would be sort of open to that as well. It's unpredictable. We don't know sort of what to get from him. A good question here, actually, your point from PMCC. I'd like to see Jesus in a second role, either in a Carabao Cup game or a league game, if we're comfortable. Do you think that would be a good thing to try out?
Well, he has played there.
Yeah.
Personally, I think he could be good there. Yeah, I do. I think because he can cut in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got the trickery. There's no question about that. He's got the trickery to actually confuse defenses and get behind them.
Yeah.
I could, yeah. If I was team selection, I could play him there, no question. But I would also maybe suit him out on the left, so he can cut in more on his right foot.
Yeah.
He's pretty deadly like that. But maybe that's the option. Maybe that is the option. Play him out in a Saka role, or play him out more in a Martinelli.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I would do. Right. I'll tell you this: if I was the manager, right, I'll tell you a position I think would be good for Jesus. Right. You could play. Right. You've got your four at the back. Then you've got Rice, Partey, whoever, Odegaard, Jesus, two up front, Martinelli, Saka.
Yeah, that would be actually good, to be fair.
Back in a holding position, right? Let him run in. Yeah. He can then feed. He can then feed Saka, Martinelli. If they cut in, he can feed them there. So I'd go like a 2-1-3-4.
Yeah, I think you've got to try new things. I think especially with Jesus, but I think it would be good to see him, especially in those cup games, because you know what, he's a good player, but he's not sort of the player he used to be. I think with Jesus, I think when he first came, he did do very well. I know at Man City he had a few good seasons, but it's a tough one with Jesus. I don't know what to expect from him this season. I think he's a bit unpredictable because we sort of know with some of our players like Partey, we know he's probably going to get injured for a big chunk of it because he always has. But it's a very tough one. A good actually point here from PMCC. Also, Arteta needs to learn the art of rotation and substitution. Odegaard, Rice, Saka all play too many minutes. They all look fatigued. Yeah, I mean it's a good positive start that Arteta actually took Saka off. I don't remember what minute it was, but I saw that and I thought that is very good. A good point here actually from Taffy. Jesus goes wide too much. I think Jesus sometimes dribbles too much. I just feel like I'd rather him just shoot, but we'll just have to. Yeah, we've got to sort of see how it goes with Jesus. It's a very difficult one. I think he's going to be more of a bench player at the moment, but I wanted to actually ask you a bit about Martinelli, because I like him. I want to like believe in him. I know at the moment, I know the season's just started, but he seems to me that he's lacking a lot of confidence. But with Martinelli, do you feel like he will get in time? The goals will come because I know at the game at the weekend he had a really good shot that was blocked, and I think he's so close to scoring, he's so close to doing well, but it's almost like he's overthinking things, like he's not really doing what he would usually do. And I think with Martinelli, he's got the pace that we really need in the team, but at the moment, it's just not really working out for him.
Look, I've talked a lot about this in the last few weeks. Right,
Yeah,
last season, it looked to me like he'd lost a yard of pace.
yeah,
And watching him the other day, right, we were playing Wolverhampton. There was at one point in the second half, Wolves were pressing very high. On the watch along I was doing, I said we could catch them on the break here, no problem.
yeah,
With the pace, right, the pace of Martinelli and Saka, right. And there was one classic situation. I forget who passed the ball out. Could have been Rice. I can't remember. Martinelli latched onto it and he's banging it. Right now, he's almost like 20 yards out. He's running with his head down. Yeah, which is something I'll come on to.
yeah,
He's almost one on one. Right, and he gets caught by a central defender. That should never happen. Not with his pace. Now, he took the shot and it went nowhere. The keeper got it and whatever. The one thing I've never seen him improve is he always runs with his head down.
yeah,
Now, top flight player, right, of the ilk of the ones that are the big names in football, Ronaldo, those sort of level players, they always ran with pace with their head up. Because at the end of the day, all the time you got your head down. No, I'm not a professional footballer. I was crap at football. I won't lie. I was useless. Yeah. But I've watched a lot of football and I've seen a lot of great players. The fact remains, all the time you're running down with you're running with your head down, you're not aware of what's around you. You're not aware who's coming up to support you. You know, and that is an issue. That's a
yeah,
problem. I'm sorry, but the coaching staff should have by now have coached that out of him to say you've got to be aware because all the time you're running and you're doing that, you never saw the likes of Patrick Vieira, who wasn't a fast player, but Omri, who was quick,
yeah,
Petit, Overmars, those type of players. They're always running, dribbling with their heads up, looking. They're looking where
yeah,
the players are. Great. I mean, one of the greatest players I ever saw in my lifetime, John Radford, way before your time in the 70s. Yeah. Fantastic footballer, fast, big. He was always looking. He
Yeah.
was looking around. That is what I think is a problem with Martinelli. My opinion.
Yeah, I think I do notice that a lot. I think that sort of probably has, and I hope it works out for him. Like we said, we can discuss these things, but we do really hope his confidence comes back up. I mean, for me, like we spoke about the game at the weekend, I think I would play Trossard just because we've got to win that. And I feel like if we play Martinelli and he doesn't take his chances, you know, it's going to be a problem as well. But I wanted to read this comment here. We don't really need pace in the team. Hear me out. Every time we're on the break, we prioritise possession and pass sideways and backwards. Having a baguette with no keys, told to pass back usually. Yeah, good point. A good point here. Facts, Jez, that's so true. Martinelli's weakness is head down, is horrendous. He needs to stop that. Rashford, yeah, I've seen Rashford do that a lot actually. Good point about Martinelli and the head down. Looks like Ola's intent is to get away from the guy chasing him. He's not thought about his end product. Yeah, I think his end product needs to improve. But I think obviously at the moment it's the first game of the season, and I feel like we've got to give him a few games. It's like Havertz. I mean, at the start, I didn't dislike the signing, but I didn't love it. I was sort of like, I'll see how it goes. So yeah, I think you've got to give him time. But I think in time, if it's not going to work, I could possibly see this season as being maybe a make or break for Martinelli. I think fans are going to lose their patience after a while. I think if he's not getting enough goals, but I know there are goals around the teams that we can get because Saka, Havertz, and that will score a lot of goals. On here, Arteta should teach Saka to cross the ball. To be honest, Saka did a good cross the other day, but I hope we can see more of that. Adama Traore vibes Martinelli. Yeah, I mean Martinelli. I hope he gets his goals. Christopher said, "Is this stream on both channels?" So yeah, this stream is on my channel, which is Gonna Gossip TV, and Jez's channel as well. If anyone wants to check out that. I miss the 442 days proper LM, and yeah, completely agree. Before we do wrap up the show, I just thought to people that are watching this off my channel, could you tell people a bit about your channel? Because I know you do watch-alongs, I know you do Arsenal content, like where they can find you if they want to subscribe or follow you.
Yeah, well, the channel's Arsenal History and More. It's all about Arsenal, obviously. Other stuff. Yeah, I'll be doing a lot of watch-alongs for Arsenal this season. Something new. And I'm going to be doing more content. I mean, during the summer, it was terrible. I hate international football, so
yeah, it's dead boring.
It's like dead boring to me. I did do watch-alongs on another channel with another fella, but it's not for me. I just find it. I'd rather watch paint dry, to be honest. Be quite truthful with you. But yeah, so it's Arsenal History and More. I thoroughly enjoyed this chat. It's absolutely, I can't believe we've been gone an hour.
Do you know what? I was thinking, like, how quick has this gone? Like, I feel like if we just started this conversation like a minute ago. Yeah, I've generally really loved this. I think it's just always nice to chat about Arsenal, and it's been really nice as well to those that have left us comments, questions. It's been really nice to do that. So please do as well. If you're not subscribed to Jez's channel, do subscribe. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well. And big up Daddy. Thank you so much for your support.
Yeah,
Glad you enjoyed.
People, smash the subs. There's a lot of people who have come from my channel. Smash those subs.
Thank you. Big up yourself as well, and hope to those that hold on a sec. If you want to subscribe to my channel, it's Gonna Gossip TV. But I do appreciate you guys coming on my channel because it's honestly been an honour to chat with you. I think I love how real you are. I love how much the standards that you have of Arsenal, because I know
you've got a gunner raid now.
I love that comment. Yeah, it's been thoroughly enjoyable to chat. We'll definitely do this again.
Going for another 10 minutes. So you've got a Lee Gunner raid.
Yeah, I love all the comments. It's honestly, it's always nice because the comments I won't always agree, but it's been generally really lovely to hear everyone's thoughts. It's been really, really nice. Yeah, big up everyone that have joined. Thank you all so much for joining. Don't forget to check out Jez's channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, do subscribe, and I'll see you up very soon. Bye guys.